Hey everyone, my name is Devin Moreno and I'm an investor in Baltimore City, a real estate investor. And here we're looking at my next flip that I'm going to do. Actually, this will be my fourth flip, but I actually own 15 houses, most of them in the Baltimore City area, but there's one in DC as well. And essentially we're going to go ahead and look at this. And what's special about this deal is that I never actually bought it. So technically I don't even own it. This is actually what we call a novation agreement, which is essentially I got the house under contract to buy it, but then I'm going to take that contract and give it to somebody else. But as part of that agreement, I do get profit from the sale of the flip. It's part of the contract, so the title company will, of course, agree to wire those funds. This actually removes me completely from the picture of it. So I'll get into novations a whole nother video, but let's go ahead and look inside. I'm going to give you a deal breakdown. This was actually mostly a cosmetic sort of flip, and I'm going to give you the numbers of what I spent to get this whole deal done. So let's go ahead and go inside. All right, so here we're actually inside the house, of course, and some of the things that I ended up doing, one of them is I painted the entire house. And I always paint the house the exact same color, okay? I just use Bare Premium Agreeable Gray. It's a flat paint. I just use that in all my houses regardless. It keeps it easy for my contractors. To paint this house, this was 3 floors of painting, about 1,700 square foot house. Cost me about $3,000. Okay, so a lot of times in most of my estimates for painting, I usually think of it as about $1,000 per floor, assuming somewhere around a 15 to 2,000 square foot house. Of course, there's a lot of variables on this and what kind of paint you're using and such, but that's what I use. Keep in mind this color that I use is also in Sherwin-Williams as well. It's actually a Sherwin-Williams color. So the other thing I did was these hardwood floors. I went ahead and sanded and refinished all of them. And basically with this cost me about $2,000 to go ahead and sand and refinish all the hardwood on this floor. That was actually a lot more expensive than the actual carpet. And the carpet part cost another $2,000, but that was for the basement, which we're gonna see, and all of the upstairs. So let's go ahead into the kitchen, see what I did in here. So you'll know about this kitchen, a lot of this actually already existed. The cabinets already existed, except there was a lot of damage to the cabinets. So what we did was we repaired this, and unfortunately we painted it. So I've never actually tried to restore a cabinet before, but I decided to try to paint the cabinets. So they just took the doors off, painted them, rather than sanding and refinishing. I would say, due to the fact that this feels a little bit, well, it's smooth to the touch, but it's not as like smooth to the look. You can definitely see it just kind of looks a little bit flatter than if I had stained it. Would have had that nice wood color, that kind of like striping that wood generally has. This all in all cost me, I want to say it was $2,000. So $2,000 to paint all of this. It was just a flat rate to do the entire thing. It took them about a week. Also, for the cabinets, this panel here was actually broken, all right? And so we couldn't replace it because the panel that we needed was actually very old and out of style. So we would have had to go everywhere to try to find this thing. So we came up with this idea to just put glass there. It didn't come out too badly. There was an idea to just go ahead and break the other panel, make that with glass as well, just so they match. But all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with it like this. Note the appliances. Both already came with the house. They're dirty right now. We haven't actually gotten the house cleaned just yet. We're actually going to get all these cleaned up with the rest of the house, and we can save the appliances and save money. There are some appliances I'd rather not keep, somewhat like this fridge over here. You can tell it's not the right size. Seemed like someone wanted to save money, but rather than buy a new fridge, at very most, if I'm not going to keep this fridge, I'm just going to throw it away, and that's it. I'm not going to put a new fridge in. If I do put a new fridge in, it's mostly going to be a staged fridge where I just simply rent it for a little bit and then simply say it doesn't come with the house. Other than that though, all in all, I just did that for $2,000. These knobs I just replaced with nickel knobs. Going to keep all of these, everything else nickel, and we're going to keep it just like that. This tile floor here, I didn't do anything to this. I actually just am gonna clean it. I'm gonna leave it alone. And in these type of flips, you wanna save as much money as possible. So all in all in this kitchen, I'm not in it too much. I did replace the light fixtures, and essentially with these light fixtures all over the house, I replaced them with all nickel. They used to be gold, but that screams kind of that older style. So I wanted to make sure that they all were nickel to keep with the finishings here, all right, and the rest of the household. I didn't replace the countertops. They're already granite, so no big deal there. Also with these outlets, I went ahead and replaced all of them with new outlets and new outlet covers. What that means is now they're all white. They're all, instead of that older, like kind of ivory look, and they're not dirty anymore, they're a new white, and that kind of gives the house a lot more of a new feel, kind of blends in the rest. All in all, to pay an electrician to replace all these outlets, I mean, the covers cost like 37 cents. The actual outlets you can get for $10, you get like a 10 pack. It's like a contractor pack of outlets and light switches. And then I paid my electrician $250 to just go through, do all those, and put up those lights. The lights that I use are often the dome type lights. However, I didn't go so cheap on this one. This one was about 30 bucks. It's actually kind of cheap, but the dome lights are about $20 for two. And you're gonna see those as we go through the house. So here we are up in the upstairs area. You're gonna notice I carpeted the room. I would highly recommend on your flips, go ahead and carpet the rooms, but on your rentals, that's where you really might want to use those vinyl flooring. Keep in mind, these are starter level homes. This is a home that's going to be worth $240,000 after we're done with it. So it's not like an insane price or anything like that. It is a bit above the median price in Baltimore City though. But carpet is perfectly fine. As long as you get a nice carpet and a nice padding that feels soft to walk on, you're perfectly fine. It's going to save you a lot of money on your flips. Whereas in your rentals, this stuff tends to get damaged. So you're actually gonna find flips are less expensive. A lot of people actually think that flips are more expensive than rentals, but in a flip, you can ignore details because you're getting rid of it. You don't intend to keep it, so certain things that you know will fail in 3 years, you don't care too much because, you know, it's going to be technically someone else's problem down the road. But the other detail is you can go with material that won't last as long because you're, once again, getting rid of it. If you decide that you're going to go all the best route and repair literally everything, and if you know a problem's going to happen in 2 years, you're going to take care of it right now, you're often going to find your flips are not going to make any money or not enough money for you to even bother doing this, and you might as well keep your day job. So just keep that in mind about these houses when you're doing a flip. So other things I can state, we had gold doorknobs. I turned them into nickel. These are tiny little details that allow me to keep the consistency throughout the house. Now here in this bathroom, I actually couldn't change this tile very easily. I wanted to, but this is that older style tile. The problem is to retile this and retile the floor, it wouldn't have been worth it. Better to just clean it up. We replaced all of these fixtures with nickel fixtures. All right, even up here. And then essentially, just cleaned this vanity. We're actually gonna clean it again. And we tried to salvage as much as we could. Brought in these nickel, everything, just keep it matching, keep it clean, new light fixture, and there you go. So I'm gonna bring you into the bedroom now. All right, so here in this master bedroom, we actually tried to clean these windows as much as possible. That didn't cost that much, but bringing in contractors to do it, we generally paid about $25 an hour to any contractor who's just doing in these sort of odd job punch out list type of things. Didn't cost me too much. Also, these cabinet pulls were put on these closet doors. These are older style closet doors, and they decided to have gold cabinet pulls. Rather than buy a doorknob, sure, I could have got a contractor pack of doorknobs for $30 for like, I don't know, I guess 6 of them that they come in. Essentially, I just went ahead and said, you know what? Just put nickel cabinet pulls and just replace it. We're just going to leave it alone, and we'll let it someone else. It just saves money here and there. Air registers. So the air registers in this house were actually pretty old, and they were kind of like grimy and dingy. So rather than even try to clean them, we just went ahead and replaced them. Unfortunately, that actually got a little bit more expensive than I would have thought. So that one was probably about, I don't know, $10, $15 an air register. That quickly climbed up in price pretty fast, especially since many of them were various sizes and such. So you could try to clean it, maybe paint it, but we went ahead and just got them brand new. So just to give that clean feel overall. So I'm going to take you in the basement and show you some design decisions I made in there. All right, so now we're down here in the basement. You're going to see from the photos that this actually had a much grimier, dingier look. A lot of the carpets were stained and such. Well, all we had to do, honestly, here was just paint it, throw down new carpet, and throw up new lighting. That was it. a lot of stuff can look brand new if you just simply give it a new paint job. And, you know, we just kind of touched up some things and that was all. You're trying to get out of this as minimal as possible. Like I said, for the flooring, we already know the all-in cost. For it, you know, $2,000 for the carpet, $2,000 for the hardwood, and you know, the painting, $3,000 for the entire house. So you're already talking about $9,000 there. Well, I'm sorry, you can't do math today. $7,000 there. So essentially, in here, all these pipes and stuff, all I want to know is that they work. You know, I don't want to start messing with it. A plumber did tell me there was a shutoff valve that was going to start failing. Okay, cool. Leave it alone. We're flipping the house. Don't even worry about it. But there was a leak in one of the pipes. All right, let's go ahead and fix that. Also, you're going to notice there were some connectors that, you know, could fail all the time. Once again, you can make decisions to fix everything in the house, but you will not make enough money to make it make sense to do any flips. So you're just going to have to accept that someone else is going to have to fix that down the line. Other things we didn't have to worry about. We didn't do any new electrical, so okay, we're not worried about it. The AC unit outside is actually very, very old. It's probably, I don't know, 15 years old almost, but here's the problem. It's still working. So since it's still working, let it go, keep it moving. If it fails or anything like that during the flip process, then that is a problem, but that's why we try to get done our flips as fast as possible. Same with our water heaters. Our water heater is actually fairly old in here, and I actually can take you in here to see it. And ultimately, I'm going to show the picture up here on the screen because it's actually kind of hard to see in the dark, but it is a pretty old water heater. But the thing is, when I turn on the hot water, does it work? If the answer is yes, then there you go. Now remember, the buyer can always ask you to replace it. And if it comes down to that, you can make the decision then. But save the dollars up front. You're going to have to make that call and just, hey, if it's working, it's working. The home inspector will verify it is working. Some home inspectors will disclose, hey, it is a little old. It might fail soon. Just an FYI, but oftentimes it's not going to discourage someone from completely buying the home. It does work. So this is just decisions you can make. They're going to add up, trust me. And there's a lot more I can actually mention, a lot of flips and such, where you just can't simply fix everything. You have to make it sell to somebody else. So a lot of other decisions I had to make. For example, this flooring. We decided not to carpet this flooring. Instead, we're just going to clean it. So when my cleaning crews come in, we're just going to clean it. It doesn't matter. It's a basement. Notice the look here, all right? The piping and all of that. You don't need to do anything fancy to this. You could, you know, some of my contractors were like, oh, we should replace it with vinyl or all this other stuff. No, stop. You don't want to just keep spending money. Just do what it needs to take to actually sell the house and get rid of it. And so ultimately in here, this utility room, I decided not to do anything at all. Now, there was a washing machine and a dryer. With the washing machine and the dryer, the washing machine was not working, but the dryer was. So, since I had two appliances, many people probably would have replaced the washing machine. No, instead I threw away the dryer. All right. So ultimately in that situation now, it doesn't exist, but the hookups are here. Here's the dryer vent, the dryer plug. Everything is here for them to actually use. That I don't need to supply that, and so therefore now the buyer knows they can come in and buy their own stuff. That saves me $500 on a new washer machine. So these are other things. Once again, these things add money. Better to just throw it away if you actually don't need it to be in the house. All right, so now here on the outside of the house, I made a couple decisions here just to get things done. I spent about $500 to get someone to do a lot of power washing and cleaning around here. I actually have to get my guys back out here because you may have noticed in the beginning of the video, the steps were power washed, but these ones are not. And obviously power washing gets a nice cleaner look. Even going around the house, we actually found that as long as we just can power wash a lot of these areas here and all that, just get it cleaned up, it kind of makes it a little less intimidating to an end buyer. The other thing we did was we actually power washed these walls all over here. So you're seeing in the photos how they were actually pretty messed up, like kind of green looking, but then we went ahead and power washed it. So that's pretty much it as far as this flip